I'm Cindy Oser, we're Hoppy Memorial Library, and we are thrilled. We have CTC students, we have dance groups, we have everyone that's going to be doing a fashion show and dance. This is Mrs. Nilka Olton Caldwell, and she is going to be your MC, and she is going to take it away from here.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. This presentation has been brought to you by a group of independent CTC students led by Rosa Carr. And so without further ado, let's get started. Traditional dress may be defined as the ensemble of garments, jewelries, and accessories rooted in the past that's worn by an identifiable group of people. The slight changes over time in color, form, material are acknowledged. The assemblage seems to be handed down unchanged from the past. Every generation adds something to the traditional dress of the times, the fashion, and that's what gives us our unique identities as peoples and cultures. What we wear is more than just material sewn together to protect us. It's a signifier of our identity, who we are, and where we've come from. It's no surprise that over centuries, communities have used clothing to identify ourselves, to celebrate important events, and unity among everything else. Today we're presenting a little bit of different traditional dress from around the world, and especially from Panama, where the majority of our presenters are from. First, we are representing India. Despite globalization, India has managed to preserve its traditional dresses, a fundamental part of its culture. Even if there are dozens of traditional dresses worn by both women and men, there are some items that are widely recognizable everywhere that everybody knows about. And one particular item is the sari. Miss Eva is wearing a green sari with beige and black. The sari is worn by women in a long dress that covers the right shoulder and leaves the midriff bare, although some people do prefer to cover their midriff, especially as you progress in age. Traditional Indian clothing for women in the north and east are saris worn with choli tops, a long skirt called the lehenga worn with choli, and a dupatta scarf to create an ensemble called garga, choli, or salwar. Kameez suits, while many South Indian women traditionally wear sari, and children wear patua langa. Thank you, Zuri. Our next country is Morocco. Many people came to Morocco and lived alongside the indigenous Berber tribes, such as Phoenicians, Arabs, Romans, and more. This diversity of cultures resulted in the creation of several unique dressing styles in Morocco, since each one of these cultures took some inspiration from the other. It's given us a unique style, whether it be robes, vests, pants, or shoes. An important example of that would be the Moroccan kafta, which is known worldwide today as one of the most famous traditional Moroccan dresses. We see it in movies, TV shows, and even in fashion magazines. Some of us even may wear kaftans as relaxation clothes around the house. Today, Zaya is wearing a turquoise Moroccan kaftan, the traditional Moroccan outfit, in the form of a long tunic in general with long sleeves, worn with a belt, which is called a madama, which can be extended under a lot of styles and colors. Normally they're worn with elegant shoes from Marrakech in Morocco, but you can also wear them with flat sandals. Thank you very much, Zai. Next, we are representing Puerto Rico, which, because we have our close relationship in the fact that Puerto Ricans are American citizens, we do see a lot of traditional Puerto Rican wear every day, whether it's interwoven in other styles or just cultural celebrations. Despite the trends that unite traditional Puerto Rico clothing, there are two distinct styles, the jibaro and the bomba. Both reflect native Taino traditions as well as outside influences. Throughout time, traditional fashion has been an important aspect of Puerto Rican history and family traditions. Following European arrival, the Puerto Rican dress took on a heavily Spanish-influenced look. The traditional farmer, known affectionately as a jibaro, is what we're representing today. The female jibaro dress is a long pink skirt with a white shirt, and as accessories, she's wearing a beautiful pink hair bandana with a pretty flower. Thank you, Ellie. Next, we have Faye representing Japan. Many of us see Japanese culture every day, whether it's in our animation, our television shows, our music, and things of that nature. This kimono she's wearing is representative of a very unique style from the culture and tradition of Japan. The kimono is a T-shaped, wrapped front garment with square leaves and a rectangular body. Can you show your sleeves, please? Thank you, now. and is worn with the left side wrapped over the right unless it's for the deceased. As part of their burial customs, they wrap the right side over the left, so the living wear theirs left over right. The camelo is traditionally worn with a broad sash called an obi. If you can show your obi. And is commonly worn with accessories such as zuri sandals and tabe socks. Thank you very much for that. Next, we have a few examples of traditional Mexican women's clothing. The most popular and well-known women's pieces of clothing in Mexico are the huipil, quechquemito, biboso, Mexican skirts, which have various names for different regions, endero, chinqueta, posahuanco, bifajo, and inagua. Huipil is a sleeveless tunic made from cotton or wool. It is worn with a skirt, but today you can wear them with pants because, as we talked about, even though it's traditional fashion, it evolves with the times. The design of this piece depends on region, beliefs, marital status, and other factors. It is one of the most popular women's clothing in Mexico. Quechquemito is a festive kind of poncho. It is worn for parties, holidays, and festivals. It should be handmade from woven cloth. Also, it is often heavily embroidered. It is very colorful and beautiful. Today, Karen is wearing a turquoise huipil from the Osaka region. Many of us, when we go sightseeing in Mexico, we purchase what we refer to as ponchos. But actually, what we're purchasing are the quechquemitos. So it's a fun fact for you guys next time you go on vacation in Mexico. Thank you, Karen. And we do have some examples of some Mexican garb. If you give us just 1 minute, we'll represent different bosos, which are the different blouses. Each of the bosos are representative of individual provinces, regions, and different groups within the area. In a minute, you're going to see Karen wearing the white biboso from the Puebla region. You'll see fade orange, which is from the south of Mexico and is worn for daily use. And you'll also see Zide in the black and gold from the Chiapas, also is worn quite frequently for parties. Give us just 1 minute, they'll be right out to showcase those for you guys. But I see a lot of different people from a lot of different areas represented here, and I'm sure everyone has something distinct from their culture that they carry with us, whether you're from Europe, whether you're from South America, Africa, Asia, or anywhere else. And some of us are kind of a hodgepodge in the mix of where we've come from and where we've been. And since we're a military community, a lot of us have military influence. So maybe we lived in Germany and we picked up some traditions from there. Maybe we were stationed in Japan or Korea, and we bring that with us everywhere we go. And that's why it's important to celebrate international days, because no one is an island. We're all an amalgamation of different places and people and things. And so it's important to appreciate what makes us who we are, especially in this country as it is a melting pot. And so thank you for coming and being able to celebrate this with us. Since the majority of the group is from Panama, we are going to focus a bit on traditional Panamanian garb. And our personal traditional dress is the Panamanian pollera. The pollera is a product of an anonymous art that grew and was developed in the warmth of our countryside homes, in the midst of pure feminine crafts. It is the typical dress of Panamanian women composed of separate pieces that consist of a shirt and a polleron, a long skirt made with fine fabric. The shirt in the inner part is formed by a basic frame called the tabablazo and the sleeves. In the outer part, it has the top opening of the shirt adorned with lace and two surrounding pieces called arandelas, one on the upper side and the other below. Both are slightly gathered around the shirt and adorned with different handmade labor, lace, and embroidery. You'll see them with different colors, styles, lace, embroideries depending on regions, family groups, and areas. The polleron long skirt has 3 segments. These segments are the pretina, the waistline upper part, the body, which is the middle part, and the susto, the lower part. The polleron is decorated over the white fabric with handmade inserts that are sewn directly to it. Others are cut off from other fabric and are then finely sewed over the white fabric. These types of labor have different names. The most known are the talco en sombra, zubsida, darn, galada, open work, sombrera, shaded, marcada, cross-stitch. The most expensive ones are usually the pollera that carries zubsida and has sombreada techniques because of the level of complexity involved in creating them. And the pollera has unique elements. It has strongly caught our attention, the hard and delicate handwork, the traditional structure, frame, and the colored labor imprinted over fine fabrics with perfect symmetry. Today, we are representing some of our traditional dresses. This particular dress is the white pollera. It is normally worn for special events, including quinceañeras, weddings, baptisms, and it also can be seen to have beautiful white and black as hair accessories. The top has several ruffles on the shoulders and has inlaid yarn. The large gathered skirt is generally white with 2 or 3 ruffles, which have a floral design or embroidery. This Panamanian pollera is luxurious and delicate, luxurious and delicate. The pollera is handmade with fine white fabric, embroidered with designs, and also in white thread. La pollera blanca, the white pollera, is within the category of luxury polleras and is made in a similar way and more appreciated by people for important events. The accessories and jewelry are normally worn with it. The decorated tembletas, the hair pieces, are usually white. You can use gold jewelry collars with this pollera. A minimum of 5 up to 8 changes enough to avoid saturation, so they can be appreciated. In the head, the combs are also made of gold, or sometimes pearl, and the translated names of the ones used are the balcony, the thoughts, and the large comb at the back. You can also add a leaf-shaped ornament called pahula. The earrings can be tendrils, and in the neck, you can use tapahueso or fine gold necklaces placed in. The chains you put on the chest are made of gold and are usually 7 of them, including but not limited to chata, witch, sling, rosario, salome, guachapali, and escapular. The shoes used for this pollera are lined in silk or satin matching the gradient streamer color. You should also put a gold buckle on the shoe adorned with Valencia. Thank you very much. And now we have our young ladies in our beautiful rebosos. Karen, you can go ahead and come out. As we mentioned before, the white is from the Puebla region. As you can see, it's accessorized with a beautiful orange shawl and had delicate embroidery of flowers with the awning. Thank you. From the south of Mexico, and normally for daily use, fades representing the orange from the orange rebozo. As stated, this is an everyday use, so sometimes going through villages on holiday or vacation, you may see people adorned exactly the same way. You can wear it with your flat sandals or other woven shoes. And a lot of times with the hair, you'll see 2 braids with them rolled with the ribbons wrapped, as Faye's demonstrating now. Finally, we have Zai in the black and gold rebozo from the Chiapas region. This is also considered a party rebozo because of the way the color's set and the style of it. It's a bit more formal, the detailing work on it is a bit finer, and it's a bit more embellished. Thank you, Zai. All right, and so we're going to jump back to Panama after a brief intermission in Mexico, and we're going to bring you a representative of one of the indigenous groups of Panama, the most well-known. The Kuna traditional dress. Panama is home to 7 indigenous cultures, the most recognizable of them being the Kuna people, who mainly live in the San Blas archipelago within Cunayala. A Kuna is quite easy to spot thanks to the vibrant colors that are incorporated into the traditional dress. The main articles of a Kuna's women attire are the mola, the mosbi, nose piercing, and leg wrap. Mola, which has come to be representative of the entire Kuna culture, means fabric or shirt in the traditional Kuna language. These pieces of cloth are elaborately designed and hand-sewn for the front and back of Kuna's women's blouses. They use a reverse applique method to create generally geometric or animal designs. The design is formed by sewing together 2 to 7 different layers of cloth and then cutting out various shapes on the different layers. Each mola can take from 2 weeks to 6 months to make. Traditionally, when people, well, not necessarily traditionally, but when people tend to visit Panama, they come home with articles of clothing or artwork depicting mola art. And you can get them in forms of clothing, shirts, headbands, and various other things, and even sandals. Actually, famously, Nike was trying to raise money for Puerto Rico during the hurricanes that ravaged the country, and in their design, they actually incorporated the mola and attributed it to a Puerto Rican folklore group, and then had to pull back the orders. So that's another fun fact, fond of useless information. The mousseline is a typical headscarf that a Kuna woman wears. The most common mousselines have red and yellow designs, though they can also be multicolored, whether worn on their heads or over their shoulders when it gets too high. It is seen as a sign of respect to have a mousseline at all times. Iko Ina is a very important ritual in a young Kuna girl's life, translated into the Needle Festival. This feast is celebrated by the young girl getting her septum pierced. Because gold is precious to the Kuna, she wears a gold hoop in her nose for the rest of her life to symbolize how the female is a treasure. Une. The beaded wrapping on a Kuna woman's arms and legs is called a une, but is more commonly referred to as a chakita. It is expected of women to wear these beginning the day of their puberty ceremony and continue wearing them as a sign of their culture and tradition. Yards of string are looped through tiny glass beads, which then are systematically wrapped and tied around the appendages, making different patterns with various colors. While the Cunayala is quite small and secluded, the Kuna people have been able to live in their own autonomous region, continue their indigenous culture, and embrace their traditions by sharing them with people from around the world. Thank you, Gracias. The Montuno Santena. Despite being a Montuna pollera, its name implies, this is one of the most valued skirts and most appreciated of the people. I apologize. The Basquina. The Basquina Chiricana enjoys the folkloric tradition it has, such as in San Jose, La Candelaria and San Juan parades, the bullfights and local festivals, such as the Almohabano with cheese, Mono y Bijao, and Paseo de la Basquina Chiricana. The costumes of this region are made up of only basquinas, which are used for dancing and in the past for working at home. There are 3 variants. The white daquilon with white tucks, lace, and braids to be tied with colored tape. This variant uses pearl buttons. White daquilon tucks in a small lace on the edge of the sleeve, washer, and lower edge of the basquina. This variant can use pearl buttons. The basquina model is made with the same chintz-type fabric from which the polleron is made. This basquina only wears tucks, uses dress buttons according to the color of the fabric. And as we mentioned before, a lot of times, over time, fashion evolves. So this beautiful basquina chicana is the basquina model, and it's in blue. The basquina, the lady's hairstyle or headdress must be consistent with the length of their hair. Trench, there are 2 braids that cross from one end to the other in the upper area of the lady's head, or a small flower on the corner of the ear. It is too beautiful for the face of the lady, must be consistent with it. Wardrobe accessories include black suede shoes, a single chain called a chata chain. Thank you very, very much. Now we get to the Montuna Santena. Despite being Montuna Pollera, as its name implies, this is one of the most valued skirts and the most appreciated by the people of Las Tablas and its surrounding areas, precisely because of its bright colors and the delicate touch of work done in the shirt, which always match the color of the polleron. Even though this is not considered a pollera de lujo, this beautiful style for sure captivates the looks of the people. The Montuna Santena, or zaraza, is complemented with earrings, a flat chain, the guachapari chain, and the tapahueso with a gold medal. For the head, a set of combs with tortoiseshell frame with a thin gold blade with pearls and bright stone inserts. A pair of buns and a pair of colored tembleques known as pimpollos. Like the pollera de lujo, this shirt should match the pendant and corduroy shoes, and everything should be the same color. The coquito pollera is of great historical value since the fabric with its crafted was one of the most popular amongst ancient artisans. It was used more than any other. According to several studies, this pollera was crafted in many different regions of Panama. The fabric utilized, from which its name was derived from, string of Holland de coco, is a fabric that already comes stamped with diversely colored flowers. In addition, coquito polleras are also crafted from Holland strings, and their flower or designs are completely hand-knit. This dress is composed of two separate pieces that consist of a shirt and a long skirt called a polleron, as we mentioned before. The shoes used for this pollera are lined in silk or satin, matching the grading and streamer color. You should also put a gold buckle on the shoe adorned with Valencia lace. This pollera headdress is decorated with colored flowers called tembleques, but you can also use white tembleques. The set of combs in the head are two balcony combs, one big comb in the back, and two heart-stealing combs made of gold. The jewelry for this pollera is unlimited, but usually the ladies wear at least 7 chains on their chest that are made of gold. The earrings can be 10 jewels, and in the neck you can use a golden necklace or a tapabesa. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. And next we have the pollera de lujo. The luxury pollera is composed of 2 separate pieces consisting of a blouse and a polleron. The inside consists of a basic frame and a shirt that covers the sleeves. On the outside is composed by the top opening of the shirt adorned with braids and 2 roundabout pieces, a top and a bottom, one slightly gathered together and worked with different labors, braids, and lace. The polleron consists of the 3 parts, the susto, body, and waistband. These are worked with white fabric with different stitches and enriched with braid and Valencia lace. We have to mention that these polleras carry a special work made by national artisans that are sewed directly to the white fabric. Among the names of this technique we find Dalgo en sombra, sombreado, or calado, zurcido, and dalgo al sol. When these parts are finished, they are assembled together with a type of lace that is handmade called monigo. Because most of the parts of this pollera are handmade, it will take between 6 months to 1 year to be completed. That is the reason that makes this pollera a very expensive one. This pollera headdress is decorated with fine tembleques, usually white. The jewelry for this pollera is also unlimited and can be used with all the items that you can get, but avoiding saturation so they can be appreciated. In the head, the combs that are used are the balcony, the thought, and the large bahula. The earrings can be 10 jewels, and in the neck, you can use the tabahueso or a fine gold necklace in its replacement. The chains you put on the chest are made of gold, and are usually 7 of them, including but not limited to the chaga, witch, sling, rosario, solomon, guajapali, and the scapula. The shoes used for this pollera are lined in silk or satin, matching the grading and streamer color. You should also put a gold buckle on the shoe adorned with Valencia lace. To conclude this event, we want to show you a little bit of Panama Carnival celebration dress and music. It's not just used during Carnival time, but also at various celebrations during the year, but most especially at Carnival. While we are waiting for them to finish putting on the Carnival poyeras and different costumes, I do want to point something out. They're very, very intricate and they're very heavy. So when you see someone in them, know that it takes strength, it takes balance, and not just the ability to dance. Because we are a Central American country and it's very hot, some of them can be kind of revealing, but it's part of our culture and our history. There was another type of pollera that unfortunately we did not represent today, and that is the Congo. This Congo is a skirt made with different fabrics and is customary to mix contrasting colors. Certain elements vary according to the status. The queen is the only one who can wear a crown. The important thing about the Congo is it's actually from those of us of African and Caribbean descent in Panama. And give me just 1 second. I actually have a bit more information about the Congo as well. The province of Colón is characterized by the coexistence of 2 cultural aspects of African descent. Afro-Caribbean, which arose with the arrival of North Americans to the colony when the construction of the Panama Canal began. Actually, it's a lot of people from the West Indies, from Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, that came to Panama to help with the building of the canal. And in doing so, people stayed in Panama, they married, they had kids, and you became Afro-Latino. They brought with them large numbers of Black West Indians, mainly from Jamaica, Barbados, and Trinidad and Tobago and the Lesser Antilles, to do the heavy lifting on these constructions. The immigrants brought their English-speaking Antillean culture, and it is manifested to this day in gastronomy, religion, and music. It should be noted that because of the Afro-Antilles from the Caribbean to Panama were mostly Jamaicans, there has been a cultural legacy which is Rastafarianism, a religious faith that is still very much in force in many sectors in the population of the city of Colón. However, there is also an important Afro-colonial influence, represented mainly by the Congo culture. Originating from the African slaves who arrived at the Isthmus of Panama during the Spanish colony, which bequeathed the current representative skirts of the province of Colón. Certain elements vary according to rank. The veil is, besides the crown, keeps the identity of the queen's secret. The scepter and complete white costume after completing certain rituals, and her sashes representing the war for peace and freedom. The pylon-type shirt made with a variety of fabrics, short sleeves with 1 or 2 washers, and discordant buttons on the back, front, or side. The crown represents Congo freedom and organization, whose leader is always a woman who watches over the community and has the last word. It is optional to use a simple or lace petticoat. Among its garnishes more than 7 necklaces, most made with natural materials, wood, seed, shell, leather, and coconut shells. The flowers cover from the temple to behind the ear. It is mandatory to add the ganito lendino, which is collected in the summers for the Congo season. Bracelets, varied rings, and sometimes tortoiseshell combs, with or without gold. The queen wears a crown adorned with ribbons and beads. A semi-precious stone hangs from its center. You also use a carved scepter finished with a cross and traditionally go barefoot. Thank you. I didn't realize you had a comb. Thank you. Finally, we have the tumba hombre, or the knockdown man, as this pollera is referred to. It's not as popular as the other polleras, but it is an important part of Panamanian history. It is said that it was first seen in the region of Los Santos, but it's also worn in Checo in the eastern area of the province of Panama. Its name came from the fact that the colorful lines in the skirt made the men that danced with women wearing this particular pollera dizzy and fall during the dance. And we also have Linden, and even though she's a little girl and would traditionally be wearing a pollera, she is wearing the traditional garb of men and young boys in Panama as well. Thank you, Linden. Are you escorting Gigi? Thank you very much. And last but not least, the finale of our show, our presentation. I give you traditional Panama celebration dress and music. If anyone would like to get up and join, please feel free to get up and join our dance ready. It's a celebration and culture thing around the world. So please feel free to get up and dance with me. Feel free to get up and join in.
I was trying to catch Rosa. Rosa was the one of our CTC students that put all of this together. She went in the back, but we should give them all a great big hand. All right. Thank you so much. And if you want to hang around and talk with our dancers, they are all in different dance groups, and some of them are just students that Rosa said, come do this with us. So, thank you again, and thank you guys for coming. Make sure that you sign our sign-in sheet, and we truly appreciate it. We have been live streaming this, and so we will have this online on Facebook and on YouTube for you guys. So thank you again. Thank you.